everyone. Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Today, we're going to blow your minds again because I am going to be on a live panel with Aline from the IUL Queens and Alesha from Legally. Aline is a financial advisor, and Alesha is a productivity and accountability coach. And as you know, I am a parent empowerment coach, and together you're going to learn the ultimate guide on how to be productive in parenting, life, and finance. So listen closely and ask all the questions throughout the live, and we will answer as many as we can. So I'm going to bring Aline and Alesha on right now. Oh, not sure. Hey, ladies, I just sent you. Okay, awesome. Hello.
Hey, hey.
Oh, hello.
Hey, hey. I am good.
How are you guys doing?
How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for collaborating with me today. I have my sidekick here, my son Matthew, so he is going to be in and out. So let's get started. So how about you guys introduce yourselves and, what's your name and what do you do?
I'm Alesha, aka Coach Lee. I'm a criminal defense attorney by day. I'm a productivity and accountability coach throughout. I'm all about helping you find that hidden time in your day because you can't pour from an empty cup, and so often people put ourselves, especially as women, we play so many roles in life, we often put ourselves and our goals last. So I'm all about empowering women to take back that time, find that hidden time in their day that they can use to pour into themselves, go after their goals, and do the things they want to do in life. So that's me.
And my name is Aline, and I advocate getting out of the debt and being able to use that to build your wealth. And I'm part of the IUL Queens, and I partner with my sister Josie. And that's what we do. We get people out of the debt, and we use that, and we build their financial future, and we get people financial free.
Awesome. And I'm Marion, parent empowerment coach, helping parents to advocate for their children in school so that they can have a bigger voice at IEP meetings. So let's get right into it.
Yes. So girls, what I want to know is, when did you start your business and why did you start it?
Okay, so I started my business during the pandemic. Literally, people have for years been telling me, you're so motivated, you're so encouraging, like, how do you do it all? You should get, you should be a coach. And I'm like, I'm a whole lawyer. Who got time to become a coach? But, pandemic living, world shut down, we're not doing trials, we were working from home. My bosses didn't care about us like being logged in 8 to 5 because there wasn't that much to do. So long as your work was done, they didn't care. It was only so many puzzles and books that I can read during this time. So all the thoughts kind of started coming back to me about people saying, the motivation and stuff. So I started looking into coaching, found a certification, made it halfway through the first video, and I was like, oh, okay. I see people saying that I should do that, and that's kind of how I got started.
What about you, Marion? How did you get started and why?
Yeah. So I started my business last year in August of 2022 because, through my own experience with navigating IEPs and, advocating for my child to receive more, support in school, I realized that if I'm not proactive in working with the teachers and communicating effectively, then my child will not get the help that they need in school. So I decided to help other parents do the same, who have the same mindset, and it's been a great experience getting to know the parents who also want to advocate for their children and they want the same things for their child to receive more support in school. So that's how I got started.
And for me, I got started same during the pandemic, and the reason why is because I've always seen life insurance as a great product, but it's one of those products that was misunderstood out there. And I saw what it did for me, and I was like, why can I expose more people to it, especially in the Black communities and women? We don't want to hear about life insurance. It's like a curse word. So I was like, I'm going to go there and I'm going to make sure that people are not, don't see it as a curse word anymore. And then so I was like, okay. Then I started doing it. I was like, people don't have money to do it because they're in debt. Okay, let's get them out of debt. And so I started doing the debt part of it also and putting those two products together. and I thought it does amazing for people, and I really, really love it, and I enjoy doing it with my sister. Yep. So, how do you then? Because as a business owner, it's fun to get started. You get excited and you go out there. How do you stay motivated in your business, and how do you manage self-care as you do it?
I would say for me, it kind of comes on its own, like not in a like I'm being cocky or anything like way. I think because it's kind of a passion project for me. Trying to show people that there is time. You do have the time. Like, you are important. And I think as a result of that, like, the self-care part flows naturally. Like, because I'm a planner, I'm planning everything out. I'm planning my meal prep. I'm planning my workout time. I know what time I'm going to bed. And so I think that's kind of how I kind of structured it. And I've kind of always been the person that works over at 5, like, unless I'm in trial, like, I stop working at 5. I don't bring work home. I don't work on the weekend. So I think having those boundaries in terms of work has then flowed over into me having the time and the capacity to do the business and to kind of keep that balance to where I know what I'm doing for me, and I know work time, I know business time, and I know me time. So I think for me, that's kind of how I create the self-care aspect. And then the motivation is just seeing the results or hearing people say that, hey, this tip, this trick, even if it's just the social media, like people who aren't necessarily working with you as a client, just the comments or the engagement that you get from social media with, your social media besties, when they say that something that you said changed their life or made a difference to them or in their lives.
What about you, Marion? How do you stay motivated, and what do you do for self-care?
So for me, my business is so connected to my own experience. So the way that I stay motivated is by reminding myself of why I advocate for my own children. So for them to get the best in school and helping other parents do the same is how I stay motivated, because that's, reminding myself of why I do it is the same reason why other parents do it, and seeing that determination in them is what helps me keep going. And when it comes to self-care, I'm really working on listening to my body. So as a parent, you do a lot, especially as a parent with children who have IEPs, because it's extra work, because you're almost taking the mind of an educator to make sure that your child is catching up to their peers. And if not, you have to do the work to make sure that they're getting the help that they need. And so I definitely make sure I drink my chamomile tea before an IEP meeting. And it has helped me so much, and I definitely try to make sure that I slow down.
Same for me. Self-care is very, very important, especially doing what I do. The finance world is not an easy world to be in. The highs and lows are just like really, really like extreme. So you have to make sure that you don't get caught up in all of that. It's very easy to get caught up in, and then just stay focused and lose your mind and get stressed out. I do that a lot. I make sure that during the day, I take 30 minutes, 10 minutes of my time. I go outside because I work from home and walk a little bit, maybe around the block, and so I can free my mind, refresh, come back and go back to work. And that helps me stay motivated, especially knowing what I do, how much I help people. Just by doing that alone gives me a lot of motivation to keep going. And yes, and I make sure that my meal I have a good breakfast, I have a good lunch, I drink plenty, because you can get caught up all day and don't drink any water. So I'm reminded that I gotta drink water. And I get my water schedule, and that helps me a lot to stay motivated to take care of myself, so I can be more helpful to people that I'm serving. So, yep. So I know when we do business, as a single owner of your own business, it's not easy, right? You have challenges that comes along the way. What challenges have you guys faced during starting this business and being in it for so long now?
For me, I would say the perfectionist aspect, like wanting to try to do everything at all the times, like wanting to help everybody. Like, I think, especially with like productivity and accountability coaching, and I think really coaching in general, like we're all about helping people to do what it is that we do. So it's like, I think my problem as an bleeds a lot into my day-to-day life that I'm always trying to like coach everybody like, no, let me show you how you can do this, let me show you how you can do that. So having to realize that there are people who want help and there are people who need help but don't necessarily realize that they want it now or that they need it now. So finding that balance of, especially at work, like people come to me like, hey, how do you organize this, like how do you do this, like being willing to teach and lead others, but also understanding where there are people who aren't ready to be led or who don't want to be taught. So kind of finding that balance of like who wants it versus who don't, especially like in day-to-day life.
I like how you said that, Alesha, because that's so true, especially in my field of business, because, you know, I can't want more than the parent wants for their child. You know, like if I'm speaking to a parent and I know what the issue is, but I can tell that they're kind of like still in denial, I try not to give them that that advice or unsolicited advice. Try not to do that. Yeah, definitely find a balance. And, you know, parents have to know for themselves that, you know, they're their child's biggest advocate. And that's one of the hardest things that comes with this business, because if you don't see the need to learn more, then how can you help your child? And that's what I try to help parents understand. But if the parent is not wanting to learn or understand more about how they can advocate, I can't do it for them. So that's one of the challenges that I face.
And I do see the same kind of similar what you said, Marion, because you can't want for somebody more than they want it for themselves. You know, it's like when I sit down with a client and I design a case for that person, and I can see that these people can get out of debt like in really, really, really short time, in records time, and yet they're not moved by that, and yet they're not moved by, oh my gosh, I'm going to save this amount of money and I can build my, you know, legacy for my family. It's challenging to be able to sit there and look at a person and not no emotion is coming out of them. And to now you got to go find the correct words, like to without being sounding like you're too salesy and then you're pushing it, but you want to move them to be, listen, this is your future, this is possible. So it's very challenging in that way, because I do a lot of case design throughout the day, and how much help you see with people and how difficult it is for people not to get emotional about their future, to get emotional about the possibility of being financial free. It is challenging to be like, why am I even doing it? If they don't care about it, why do I care? You know, so it's kind of challenging that way, but you make it work, because you always find somebody that cares about themselves. So,
yes, finding that person who cares.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the main focus.
Right.
The ones that really want the help will come to you. They know how to find you. So, Alesha, what is one thing you can share with parents who want to advocate for their children in school, but they struggle to stay organized? And
I think it goes back to finding that why, like understanding that you are your child's biggest advocate. And so creating a system and a structure for you. So understanding that like there are going to be the different IEP meetings, there are going to be the different additional roles. So making, like my big thing is make a to-do list, do a brain dump, plan out your week. So when you're making your schedule for the week, you know what your non-negotiables are, i.e. if you have to work, if there are doctor's appointments and things like that, and then understanding where are these appointments that you might have to do at the school or things like that, making those priorities as well, because in advocating for your child, you're saying that this is important, this is something that you want to fight for. So essentially like getting a planner, a binder, a notebook, whatever that looks like for you. If you're a digital planner, getting a digital system to where you can keep track of all the IEPs, the follow-ups that you have to do, the appointments that might be requested, who's supposed to be doing this, the stuff that are provided. Creating you where your role is, because essentially you almost become, and correct me if I'm wrong, you almost become like the secretary for your child. Like you're in charge of fielding and pointing and making sure where it has to go where. So you're going to need a system to keep yourself organized, because you're adding this on. Like essentially you're adding another part-time or full-time job, depending on how much is really being asked of you, depending on, you know, the level of the IEP. So you need to be able to plan and strategize for that, because you're not adding something else onto your already busy schedule. And like I said, we as women, we do so much in life already that adding in this other job and this other role is going to be something that could potentially overwhelm you and stress you out if you don't get a system and a good foundation in place to do so.
Absolutely. Definitely. I love the points that you make. It definitely is another full-time job, especially if you get pushback from the school, then it's extra work trying to gather all the data. And we'll talk about that more later. But yeah, so Aline, how does taking action and making decisions help a parent build their
It
financial
goes
future?
your financial future. It goes along with what Alesha says. You know, you want to advocate for your child. You want to advocate for yourself. And one of the things that people put it on this as a back burner, something that they don't even think about, is their financial. But yet every day we spend money. We buy stuff. We pay our bills and everything. But nobody thinks I could be debt free. Nobody thinks I can be financial free. So in you encourage people in be able to do that, to advocate for themselves and to realize that whatever is going on in their life, because we have tried several, like, you know, for our life, been trying to get out of the debt, be trying to like get this money going. That's why we go into business, because we want to bring a little bit extra in our family. But then the stuff that needs to be taken care, the steps that you need to take, you know, to get there where you want to be, people are afraid to take those steps. It's not going to be easy. And if you're going to go fight for your child, it's not going to be easy. Now you got to think about, okay, it's not easy. I'm not going to give up, right? Or I'm not going to fight through it. If you want something for your child, like advocate for your child, advocate for yourself, and have a brighter future than what you have today, you got to do something. And that's what we do, my sister and I, where we sit down with people and we paint that pictures for you, because it's not just this particular moment that you're going on. It is going to be the rest of your life. So you can't just think about today or right now. You got to think about right now, and then you got to think about tomorrow. And I really like doing that with a client. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when it comes to your kids, you always got to think of future. You always want to see what's going to happen for them in the future, because they're growing, you know, and you want to make sure they have the best setup. Yeah, definitely. So for everyone, so anyone can answer this. So do you think that mindset is important when it comes to changing or preparing for change? If so,
absolutely.
why?
Mindset. I'm sorry, Alesha.
No, go ahead.
No, go
Mindset
ahead.
is
Nobody, it's no order.
everything for what we do, and especially for me, the mindset is to changing the mentality. And I'm going to say something that's going to sound controversial, but it's not. People are in the habit of spending money, right? Well, what we do is we teach them to spend the money. It's not just about spending money, it's how you spend your money. And people mindset does not realize that I can spend that money twice. And I was talking earlier about life insurance. Life insurance was created the way you, when you listen to life insurance, for example, you think life insurance, the word is there, the explanation of what it is there, life insurance. But that's not what people sell it for. They sell it when you die. So it's not life insurance anymore, it's become death insurance. So we don't do death insurance, we do life insurance. And the mindset to be able to switch that, to be like, I'm not going to get this product for when I die. I'm going to get this product for when I leave, so that I can use it on my children, on my family. And then you can use it because it was designed in a way that you can leave it as a legacy if you use it the right way. That mindset is everything. If you can switch it, now you can all of a sudden see yourself having that $1 million in your bank account, right? It's not just going to be something you see on TV. So yes, mindset is everything. You got, and one thing you can do, I'm sorry, is you have to read. You can't just accept for what it is. You got to go do the research. There's YouTube University, but be careful with that, because you could get really, really confused there. But you got to go read so that you can educate yourself and you can be able to change your mindset.
Yes, definitely. Because knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is really where that power is. And just like you were saying, or the insurance that you guys sell, as well as everything, because we get so procrastination. You're putting it off. You're putting things off. You're putting it off for tomorrow. So even when it comes to like productivity and accountability coaching, it's the same thing. It's about getting you to focus on right now. Focus on today. Think about the future, but also understand that you are important. And I think in what we all do, we're saying that you are important and that you have to be your first advocate, because it starts with you. You can't pour from an empty cup. So if you don't look at it as I am important, everything that's going to flow after that is you helping other people, whether that's you helping other people get rich, you helping other people, like, you know, your child not being advocated for in the proper way. So therefore, you're helping the school continue to perpetuate the cycle of, you know, not every child, you know, I forgot what the phrase used to be, like every child, where they focus on every child. But so, yeah, mindset is hands down important. People don't realize that it's a mindset. It's important. And I think we all understand that it's just a matter of educating the public and getting them to see that what you think and what you believe is what you're manifesting in your life and the life of those that you're surrounding yourself with.
Absolutely. So, and for me, when I tell, and I agree with both of you ladies, because when I tell parents, the parents that I'm working with, you know, as a parent, in order to get the support that your child needs in school and everything, you have to be their biggest advocate, because that is where the foundation lies. You have to first understand that you are your child's best advocate, and, you know, changing your mindset to believe that, you know, do whatever it takes to be heard, to get your child supported in school, you know, will ultimately help them in school and also in life. You know, school is a stepping stone to life pretty much. And so if they're getting that support in school, it'll help them in their life. So the first step is educating yourself as a parent on the laws that are set up to help your child in school and in special education, and also understanding your rights as a parent, and so that you can have a bigger voice at IEP meetings. So yes, mindset.
And I think, Marion, that's like the perfect transition to, like, when it comes to deciding to change, like advocating for change, whether that's for yourself or like your child in this case, what are some of the things you take into consideration? I know you mentioned the laws and understanding that, but if you've decided that you're ready to change or you're ready to advocate, when it comes to that change, what are some of the first things that people should take into consideration?
I know in my experience, when I work with parents, one question that I ask is there enough data to support what I'm advocating for? Because, like, for example, if my child is struggling in math, and even, you know, even with my help or with their general education teachers, how they're not grasping the basic concepts, I need to show the IEP team examples of this struggle. I need to be able to articulate this issue in a way that will help them understand that there needs to be a goal, accommodations or modifications to their IEP included in their IEP to help them understand those concepts in math, so that they can catch up to the grade level that is required of them. You know, there's so many things to take into consideration, but that concept is a very important one, and that's what we discuss more in detail when I work with my clients one-on-one.
When it comes to, like, insurance, same thing. I know we talked about mindset, and I know that mindset is going to probably be a big piece of this as well. But what about for you when it comes to advocating for change and deciding that I want to be debt-free, I want to live debt-free, not die debt-free? What are some things you might look to or take into consideration when advocating for that change?
You have to do, and I really love that question, because there's a lot of different things that are out there that are people, different organizations trying to help people get out of the debt. And then that's when you realize that it is a major problem in America. But as a person who is in debt and who's worried about it and loses sleep over it, you can't just continue to lose sleep over it and hope that you'll get out of debt. You got to do something about it. And there's a lot of products that are out there. You have like a whole life, you have term life, you have IULs. All of these products are there for a reason. So you got to go educate yourself. What do you want? You got to ask yourself, what do you want? What is it that you're trying to achieve? Now, when you ask yourself, you say, which product is going to get me to where I want to go? And now you calculate the risk. You calculate the risk for today. You calculate the risk for tomorrow. Now, when you do all that, you did it by yourself. Maybe you're not educated enough. Maybe there's not enough information for you to be able to make an educated decision. Don't just sit there. Reach out. You know, my sister and I, for example, we call ourselves IUL Queens for a specific reason. We are the IUL Queens because of what we do with our product and how we use it, how we design it. And the people that are in the insurance industry, they're going to understand this. But how we design that IUL is amazing, what we do with that. And then not only do we do that for you to get you financial free, now we also get you out of debt. So you can't just sit at home and wish you were debt free or wish you were financial freedom and that is going to happen. You got to be able to educate. Reach out to Josie, reach out to Aline at the IUL Queens. We're going to be able to help you because we gave ourselves that name for a specific reason, because we know where the queens are what we do. And so, yes, you got to, like we were mentioning, the mindset and everything. Until you switch that mindset and understand that I gotta get up and do something about it, nothing is gonna happen for you. You got to be
Yeah,
able to do that. Yes. Go for it.
yes, definitely. And I think I love what both of you said, like Marion, in terms of is there data to support that? That even goes to what Aline is saying. Sorry, I keep rolling my tongue wrong. Is saying in terms of like what do you want and why? And I think even for me, in terms of what I do, both of what you said comes into play. Like, is there data to support being in debt or living debt free? Is there data to support that my child is or is not struggling? Is there data to support that I'm not important and that I shouldn't put myself first and prioritize myself? Is there data to support the fact that I don't have time? So I think that the data to support it and understanding your why are both important. And I think for me, when it comes to deciding that you're ready for change, understanding, like for me, I'm going to say when it comes to like advocating for that change for yourself, because I'm all about starting with you before you can then give to other people, is understanding that you are important. Is there data to support that you're important? Are you alive? Yes. Okay. Well, there's data to support that. Is there data to support that you don't have time, or are you just not using your time effectively? Like, how often are you sitting watching TV for hours at a time? How many naps are you taking a day? Like, how much time do you spend scrolling social media? So is there data to support there really isn't that there isn't time for you in your day? So I love that. So I think that when it comes to both like the advocating for change, that kind of leads to the decision that something's got to give. What's happening in my life or the life of my child and the legacy that I'm looking to live isn't working. What I'm doing now isn't working. Where do you suggest, Marion, that people start with kind of taking that action? Like what, I guess, pre-IEP, like what's maybe the first step or what happens first?
Well, usually when I'm going to go to, because I work more with parents who have the IEP. Right. So if a parent is trying to advocate for their child and the IEP team doesn't agree with what the parent is saying that their child needs, something definitely has to give, because the child suffers in the end, right? So when I work with clients one-on-one, I like to get to the root of the problem. So I see what the parent has tried before, what's not working, and then we go from there. So usually the issue is the parent is not putting enough time in preparing for the IEP meetings. So the meeting is usually used up. The meeting time is wasted because the parent is trying to convince the team that their child needs this help. They're not prepared. They don't have the data to show. So of course the team is going to reject what they're saying because they didn't even have time themselves to even, think about this. Figure out how they can help the child, how to kind of build on what the parent was saying. So, and that's what we work on in the consultation. So we make sure that we establish a mode of communication that, is the most effective so that the tone is set for the meetings. And so, the parents' requests are more likely to be, accepted or taken into consideration because the team had time to review it and then make a decision. And then the IEP meeting is so much more productive. So yeah, you just get to the root of the problem. That's the first.
So what about you, Aline? When people are now looking like, okay, I either have this life insurance, death insurance, I'm looking into trying to figure out something different. Where do you suggest that people start? Aside from obviously coming to book a call with you and your sister and getting in the calendar, like where should they start? You talked about YouTube University and all of that.
I did. And you have to read. There's a lot of information out there to be able to educate. Like I said, there's different terms, this whole lot, this IUL. All of them do something specific. And for you to be able to use one of them, you have to first, like I mentioned earlier, what you have to first want to know what do you want to do and how are you going to get there. So go ahead and educate yourself. There is no lack of information. There is plenty of information out there to be able to educate you. And then you read, you have to read. Education is everything. You won't know anything unless you go look for that wisdom. It's not going to come to you. You have to educate yourself. I mentioned YouTube University. You just have to be careful with YouTube University because all these guys, they go out there and they tell you this product is bad, this product is good, this product is this. You got to take it and bring it back and focus to what do I want? Yes, you're bad, you're good, you're bad, what do I want? And then when you'll be able to you have to do that self-examination, especially in the finance world. It is your money at the end of the day. It is your life at the end of the day. You can't just let everybody around you determine or make a decision for yourself. You have to make that decision. And then you have to look in your circle of people, the people that you're going to for decision. Are they successful? Is that the life you want? When you look at your friends, you look at your neighbor, you look at whoever, is that a life you want? If that's what you want, go to that person and let them guide you. But if you want something better, find that person that's going to help you get there. Surround yourself with the people that's going to get you to where you want to go.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I think understanding what has and hasn't worked, being prepared, doing your research, even in terms of like, for me, when it comes to like, okay, I've been procrastinating, I've been putting things off, I'm running on fumes because I keep pouring, giving to everybody else and not giving to myself. Even for me, that's a big part of where I start with clients. Like, what have you tried in the past? Did it work then? If so, why did you stop doing it? Did it not work? Okay, let's figure out what works. So I think understanding you as a person is a big part for, in terms of me, where I suggest that people start with getting to being productive, getting things done, getting that motivation going. It comes to understanding who you are as a person, what's worked for you in the past, what hasn't, and then be able to craft a plan to go on from there. So I know we've kind of danced around what each of us do and like the services that we offer a little bit. So let's tell the people. Marion, what do you do? I know we did it in the intro, but like, what services do you offer? The type of people that you help? How can people work with you?
Yeah, so my business is called You Are Advocate Worthy, and we offer one-on-one consultations. They're up to 2 hours. They can be broken up to according to how the parent schedule is set up, and these consultations are personalized IEP trainings that target specific areas that the parent needs to help with understanding the IEP procedures in their state, and it also includes training on the process for getting their child evaluated for a particular service, and also parents receive training on their rights. So you know, they can call out the in other words, they can call out the team for violations that have taken place that they wouldn't have known otherwise if they didn't educate themselves. You know, so we prepare for the IEP meetings as well. So we help any parent that is looking to reduce their stress by learning more about IEPs so that they can have a better results when advocating for their children and progress at IEP meetings. You know, we like to work with parents who are not afraid to have a bigger voice and are willing to learn how to do that. So to start working together, people can just click the link in my bio, and they can follow me at You Are Advocate Worthy, or go to www.youareadvocateworthy.com and book a sales call to sign up for the consultations and learn about how they can advocate for.
And that's not state specific, right? You're able to help anybody like in the United States. There we go.
Right. Yep. Yes.
Aline, what about you? Tell us about you and your sister. Tell us about the Queens. How can people work with you? What do you do? The type of services.
Yes, we provide 2 types of services for people. We do, there's a free, the first thing we do is there's a free webinar where we introduce you to what we do. We talk about the product, how to get out of the debt, and then we talk about how to use those same debt that you were having once you're out of it to be able to infuse it and build your legacy, your future, your wealth, and all of that. So that session is a free session. If you like it, we'll move on to the second session, and that session is about, depending on the person, if they have a lot of questions and stuff like that, but we usually schedule it for an hour, but it could be less than an hour. Then the second session, we dive deep into it now because we've prepared a specific case for somebody, and we dive into it and explain to them how it's going to work. And like I mentioned earlier, the IUL Queens, so you see guys, we are the Queens are what we do, and I love it. And we be able to help us. So you can follow us on Instagram, leave a message. Josie's very good at following those messages. So if you DM on, the chances are you're going to get an answer right away. It's the IUL Queens on Instagram. And if you're on Facebook and you're watching and you want to follow us, we're Aline and Josee on Facebook. Yep.
All right. And then I'm Coach Lee, your productivity and accountability coach. In terms of services that I offer, it's all one-on-one coaching because I don't believe that productivity and accountability is a one-size-fits-all approach. So everyone needs that individualized attention, kind of like with the IEPs. Every child is different. Every person is different when it comes to getting things done and having different schedules and times. So in terms of services that I offer, I have a single session I call it a productivity strategy session, which is basically giving you a schedule that you can follow day to day and week to week to plug in. Like, hey, I have this IEP, I need to plug this in this week. I have these other calls. And then aside from that, I have a 6-week coaching package where we work together weekly for 6 weeks to understand what is the goal that you're looking to accomplish, setting an action plan to do it and working through it together and getting you there while having that motivation, that productivity, that accountability to help support you in it as those hiccups in life come up. Someone there to support. I help primarily work with men. I know I went live yesterday with a past client, which was a male. So typically it's women who have a hard time kind of prioritizing ourselves. So I focus primarily on women, but honestly, men, I can help you too. If you're looking to take back time in your day, pour into yourself, find time to do a passion project, a hobby, just have some time for yourself. You can follow me on Instagram. It's at legally.me. Legally is not spelled the regular way. It's LEGALLEE.me. And you can click the link in my bio to book a call. Send me a DM if you got questions. You're not really sure where to go. And then that's people that I help. That's how they can, work with me. So that's really all I got. Marion, thank you for having us.
Awesome.
It's been, I've had fun. I don't know about
I had fun. Thank you, Marion. I had a lot of fun. Thank you, girl.
Yes. I was so happy to be with you guys. So everyone, you can click the arrow that's up here. And if you're not following Aline, click the IUL Queens. If you're not following Alesha, click legally.me. It's right there. And if you're not following me, You Are Advocate Worthy is there to follow as well. So, I hope you all had a good time. If anyone doesn't have any questions, we'll leave it right here. Follow us for more information on being productive, building financial wealth, and advocating for your children in school. Thank you again, ladies.
Thanks.
We'll talk soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.